Hello, everybody. Welcome to the last Wealth Management Advisory Club meeting of the semester. I know some of you guys are probably sad it's the last one, but we're going to go to the bank today. We have a very, very good friend of mine who's coming in to speak to you guys with a CPA and also the CFA exam from UWORLD Roger CPA. Some of you guys might have known her. She presented Beta Alpha Psi last semester. Janill Briones-Lopez. Please give you guys an undivided attention. And by the way, for all the members, please stay after. A very important announcements made by next semester. And with that, I will leave it up to you, Janill, so you can take it away.
Sure. Hello, everyone. I don't see anyone from my angle, so hi. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Janill Briones-Lopez. I'm the Business Development Manager with UWORLD Roger CPA Review. And today I'm going to talk to you about setting goals and landing your target. So I figured this would be a good general presentation about setting goals, especially since it's the end of the semester. Usually it's kind of like a end of an era, even if it's just like a semester thing. Setting goals over the summer for even the future would really be helpful as well. So let me see if I can share my screen here. Let me know if you can see it. You see my presentation?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. So yeah, so we're going to talk about goal setting and then how you can land your target, some tips on that. And then towards the end, I'm going to talk to you about our CPA exam course. And then I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about the CFA course that we have. So since I know that some of you may be interested in the CFA as well, or instead. So without further ado, let me go ahead and continue the presentation here. So let me start by talking a little bit about myself. I've been with the company for 6 years now, and my goal has ultimately been to help candidates prepare for the CPA exam with our course, or even if they just have general questions about the exam, learn more about how they can achieve that goal. I'm here to help. With UWorld, we have been around since 2003. We're considered a worldwide business, global business. We really started off with creating high quality exam prep for medical students with the USMLE exam. So our CEO, Dr. Chandra, used to be a medical student. His experience with studying for the USMLE exam at the time was not, I guess, at its peak. So he made it his business to create a review course for that exam. And legend has it that since USMLE World, which was our name back then, was launched, the exam needed to become a bit harder since there was so many future doctors, students, candidates taking that exam that were passing at such a high rate. So we are now, in the School of Business, years later, CFA, CPA, MBA, and so forth. And so our goal is to really do the same with the CPA exam, really increase that pass rate, since it's, according to Dr. Chandra, it's atrocious how it's such a low pass rate, so under 50% right now. So that's our goal, to help candidates pass the CPA exam. Now, for those who are not familiar with us as a whole, we, Roger CPA Review, we kind of joined forces with UWorld just, I think 3 years ago at this point, and we've helped over 2 million students prepare for their high stakes exams. So on the CPA exam side, we've been around since for 25 years. Roger has been teaching to the CPA exam, I guess pretty much since he started out at Deloitte, and then continued on to create his own CPA review course. And since then, we've helped so many students, but within the CPA exam, like I said, 94% of our candidates are passing at such a high rate. And this is really due to the fact that we have a high quality content team with high quality course material and the technology embedded in the program, including SmartPath and other features that I will talk about later. And I just want to also highlight that some of the features that I will be highlighting on the CPA exam are very similar, if not the same features on the CFA portion of our course. So we're also considered a leader in education technology, acquiring a few awards along the way. Last year, we acquired the American Business Award for Product Innovation for our CPA product, really highlighting the level of intricacy our tech team implemented into our product to give our candidates the highest quality experience. And we're also partnered with a few firms, hundreds of firms across the United States. Here are a few that you may find, I guess that you may find familiar. Markham actually just released a statement about merging with Friedman. I believe they're acquiring them. So that's pretty exciting. So if you find yourself working there, just know we are partnered with them. Now, before I continue today's presentation, I urge you to sign in. So I know Jack may have sent out the link ahead of time just to kind of give you a chance, but I urge you to sign into today's presentation for a few reasons. After each presentation, I usually send a really helpful ebook out. So I will be sending that. We have a 2022 CPA exam ebook and then the 2024 ebook for those of you who will be eligible for the new exam, and I'll talk about that in just a bit. I also send out the free trial links. So for this particular presentation, I will send out the free trial link for the CPA exam, but also for the CFA, which allows 90 days of free internet, free access. So it's like a whole 3 months for level 1, which I'll get to again. But if you are interested in that, sign up. And then if you would be able to just identify yourself as a CFA student, I can also connect you with our rep that is in charge of the CFA section. So either next to your name or wherever in the form, you can just include like a little, I'm a CFA student, etc. This I'll pull up this slide later on in the presentation if you don't get a chance to do it right now. Okay, so today's agenda: how to effectively set goals. We're going to talk about that. Then targeting your career goals, setting your goal for the CPA exam, and then why the time to invest in yourself is now. So we'll talk on these topics throughout the presentation. Let's start off by talking about what is a goal. What is a goal? According to the dictionary, it is the end towards which your effort is directed. So a goal is the destination of your journey. It's the object of a person's ambition or effort, and it's your desired result. So you're taking a bunch of energy and passion and heading towards a certain direction. And for many of you, that goal may be the CPA license or obtaining your CFA as well. So the first thing you want to do is do a self-assessment. What is important to you in life and in your career? So that means that you want to sit down and think about what's important to you. You ask yourself questions like, what do you want out of life? What do you want your work life to look like? And then most importantly, what are you passionate about? So once you've done some reflecting, you will want to set up those short-term goals and then long-term goals as well. Short-term goals are specific, actionable tasks that you could do to ultimately help you achieve your long-term goals. So for example, clean up your desk might be a short-term little goal that can help you get through the day, or you want to finish an essay or fill out an application, or even short-term goals can be looked at a more moderate scale, such as the goal of finishing off school, finishing off semester by semester, etc. Then your long-term goals would be, you want to take a look at that at a much larger scale, since you can take many paths to ultimately achieve your long-term goal. This is, and then along the way, you're evaluating the path. So this would be kind of like, well, long-term goal, I want to be a partner at a firm, for example. So there are plenty of ways you can get that done, but understanding what you want and kind of really zeroing in on those goals can be really helpful when you are trying to achieve them. Now, what are some of the benefits of setting goals? So you have long-range focus. Again, you have an idea of what you want in the long term that can kind of motivate you to work towards it and then figure out different paths that you may be able to take, especially if some paths aren't working out. Again, and that will allow you to have short-term focus or short-term actions, developing those actions that can allow you to move forward to the next step, and so on. You can also avoid only focusing on career goals, because that could help you, that can make you lose focus, or at the very least, not take into account other things that are also important or you may find important as well. And it makes life choices easier to make once you do zero in on those important goals for yourself. So what do I mean by not avoiding only focusing on career goals? We believe that you must also address and target both professional and personal goals. So here are some goals that we like to highlight, because these are basically what we live for, right? There's job versus career. There's a financial goal. Perhaps there's a certain type of lifestyle that you want to aim for that could potentially work together with your job versus career goal, but it doesn't necessarily have to, since there are other options or other means to make money. But that's something that you might want to consider as well, though a lot of times they do coincide. There are physical goals, what would you like to do to take care of yourself physically, whether it's, working out or eating healthy. Mental goals, these goals are what we would recommend to someone who wants to keep their mind sharp. What kind of educational, opportunities you want to give yourself, even if they're not necessarily going to help you in your career. Maybe you want to keep sharp by reading books about different topics that you're interested in, taking classes on things that you're passionate about. That's what I mean. Familial goals are goals that you would set for your family. So maybe this is something that you're thinking about in the future. What kind of family goals do you want? Maybe you want a partner or children, or in another sense, family that you're living with now, parents and such. Do you want to work or be living in an area where you'll be close to your family? These are things that you might want to think about, maybe not right now, but in the future, and are considered goals, since it'll ultimately help you define what paths you'll be taking. So these are things that you might want to also take into. And then finally, spiritual goal. Again, if that's something that's important to you, you may want to set some time to do that as well. But now, we often say that it's not, life isn't a beer commercial, or it's, we can't really get everything. So that's why it's important to zero in on what's really important. Like, we listed here 6 potential goals that you can look at, but there are many, many more. So you want to really zero in on the ones that are important. Now, what are these goal setting procedures? Now that you've zeroed in on what's important, how do you get that started? So you start off with the reflection of the goal. So this would be 5 years, 10 years, or 20 years down the line. What does that goal look like? What will I be achieving at that point if I do everything that I'm supposed to be doing? Reflecting will allow you to kind of create that picture, right? Even if it's fuzzy at this point. And then moving on to the crystallization stage, which is really, clarifying the picture, having a better idea of what to do and what not to do. But once you clarify what that means to you, then you can start formulating a plan. And this would mean writing down those short-term actions to get you to the long-term goal that we're crystallizing here. But then, of course, along the way, there's evaluation. This would be kind of like the New Year's Eve version of this. So every year, for example, around New Year's Eve, there's a resolution. Everyone, resolves to either lose weight or focus more on their career or do something that is special. So at this point, it doesn't necessarily have to be in the New Year's Eve or whatever. It could be at a point where you say, okay, what am I doing that is working out for me to achieve these goals? What isn't working out, and how do I modify? Which is the last one. How do I modify? How do I change what I'm doing right now? Because either it's not working or it's not making me happy. So now I have to, again, reflect again. Is the long-term goal still what I want? Is it still as clear as daylight to me? And then you can kind of circle of life it. You're gonna keep going and change as you go along. And that's okay. It's okay to modify as you move along, especially when it comes to career goals. Even though, again, we're not talking just about careers, but mostly today, yes. And as you move forward, things can change as you go, and that's completely fine. So now, achieving your goals, now that you've developed an action plan, you may have heard that goals without a plan are merely wishes. So the first thing that you want to do is develop this action plan. So you say, you want to be a partner at your preferred firm. You establish a reasonable timeline for how long it may take you to achieve this goal. So for example, it might take you 12 to 15 years to reach that goal. Again, this is an example. A couple of years in, you may realize, hey, this is a great profession, but it isn't for me. Then you may want to reevaluate your goals and make sure that that's still what you want to do for yourself. And that's okay. It's always allowed to modify and adjust your life goals if you aren't happy in them. So periodically, you want to remind yourself of those goals, have them written down somewhere where you can see them. I know that, there's often like little memes that people post on their social, but if it's something that's not constantly viewed, maybe it's like on a board in your room or on your mirror or somewhere where you can see it every day, you can always be reminded of what you're working towards, either in your career or any other goal that you set out. Okay. Another great way to kind of keep track of this is to create progress reports. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you write down, but just again, keeping yourself in check. What have I done so far to achieve this? So like, I'm going to scale it back a little and say a goal that you may want for yourself is the CPA exam. What have I done so far? Have I opened my book today? Have I passed any of the parts that I need to pass for me to get this license? These are things that you need to keep yourself accountable for. So otherwise you're not going to get them done. And of course, as you go through, you want to evaluate your timeline. If you're giving yourself a very strict timeline and you know that it's not going to work out because of A, B, and C reason, set yourself up for success and adjust that timetable for yourself. Now, speaking of time, here are just some calendar, some time savers that you might consider if you haven't already started using them. Calendars work really well to keep you on track often enough. When we talk to our CPA candidates, they want to know if there is like a schedule or some sort of study planner for them to kind of follow along. Calendars kind of work the same way, keeping yourself organized, making sure that you do everything that you need to do by a certain time. Obviously, you guys are students, so you know that there are deadlines for papers or for other projects that you may be doing right now for other classes. So it's important to keep yourself organized with calendars, and that's just going to continue on into your career and should continue on to in your everyday life. Keeping your workspace clean often also helps really clear up your mind, especially helps you kind of get your work done faster. Technology as well. This is kind of an obvious one. We all have smartphones at this point, or may have smartphones at this point. Utilize the technology to help you, save time. Maybe if it's just something that can help you remember a certain task or something that can be automated that you don't necessarily need to do yourself, use the technology to help you. Assistance, outsource anything that you don't necessarily, that could take time. For example, outsourcing chores, for example, the laundry, or if you can afford like a cleaning person to help you clean your house. That's something that you can also do to help you save time. And then lists. I love lists. Lists keep me organized. Lists is a great way to just kind of check off things and kind of see it's a physical action that you can check things off and feel good about doing things and getting things done. So I love lists. I often recommend to do them if you haven't used them yet. Okay, let's shift gears and target your career. So normally this presentation is for just accounting students. So I know some of you may be accounting students, so I definitely hope this is helpful. But we're going to shift gears now and kind of go back to that original goal that we talked about, which is job versus career. So what is a job? A job is what you have to pay your bills. Usually it's not something that you end up doing for a very, very long time. It's kind of a means to an end. Career is what you guys are working towards right now. Career should be something that you're passionate about and that you plan on doing for many, many hours in a day, especially, and I know for firms, they often work, 45, 50, even up to 60 hours, depending on the time of year. If you're planning on spending so much time doing what you do with your livelihood, you want to make sure that you're happy doing it and that you don't want to find yourself on a Sunday night dreading Monday mornings, because that's not something you should do. You should be excited about going into work. When you think about your career, you really are thinking about what you want to spend your working life in. So if you're looking at public accounting, for instance, or private, governmental, or any kind of other firm that you're looking to work in, there are different benefits to the different avenues that you can take to achieving career success. So it's important to explore all of those options and figure out what is best for you. And then you are also thinking about advancing in career opportunities. You can continue to set new goals and to develop to work towards those opportunities as well. So if you're working towards a career that can allow you to expand, especially move up within a firm, for instance, or even venture off into new areas in that field, finding something that would benefit you would be probably beneficial, I guess. Okay, so here are some career options in accounting, obviously, again. So We all know Big Four and general public accounting. This is if you're interested in a CPA license, you may want to start off in one of these firms. There's the Big Four, the biggest accounting firms there are. So these are great opportunities there. But Big Four means long hours, big opportunities as well. So you expect to really give it your all and not have too much work-life balance. And that's something that incoming candidates usually know and usually accept, and it's okay because you're going to get a lot of experience. Usually other top 100 public firms or even local firms will also give you great experience as well, especially in the public field. If you're looking for private accounting, that would be something that would be a career within a private firm. There's opportunities and plenty of private, like you're working for the big firms or big companies like Coca-Cola or I don't know, the MBA or something. They're looking for accountants as well. So you can work for one of those private firms. Government accounting, you can work for the FBI, forensic accounting, for instance, it's an opportunity. Financial planning, IT consultant, environmental accountant, or you can also work in, you can also veer after maybe working in the public sector for a while, you can explore academia and become an accounting professor or a finance professor, or even become an entrepreneur, such as our Roger Phillip did and became a CPA review person. So these are just some opportunities you can explore if you're not familiar with everything. I usually bring up this slide because sometimes when you're thinking of getting the CPA license, you think it's only for public accounting. It's really not. The CPA license is valued in all of these areas and more. And so are any kind of license, like CFA as well. So, you can always bring your certifications with you once you obtain them and really start careers in any place, shape, or form. So. Did you know that 80% of people get their jobs based on connection? This is something that it's mostly, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and it is true. So we often recommend, especially now as your students, to stay connected with as many of your peers, as many as your professors, or even the firm personnel that you're meeting now at career fairs, etc. Using, LinkedIn, for instance, to really connect with them. It's a great place to network. It's good to know more and more people, but it's not enough to just know them. You have to start building a relationship with them if possible. Now, great places to get involved and start building these relationships. If you aren't part of the state society, you should do that. There's a CPA State Society in New Jersey that we do partner with. You want to attend like networking events or luncheons where you can kind of work the room and talk to professionals. It's a great place to, exchange business cards if you have a business card at that point, or at least just a student information, take their cards and join, connect with them on LinkedIn. Another opportunity to get involved would be mentoring. Either you attend Meet the Firms and talk to other peers or other professionals. Firm tours is a great place now that for the most part, the pandemic is kind of allowing us to move around now. Firms might be offering tours again, so you can see where you may want to work and kind of get a feel of their of the culture at the firm. Attending banquets is also a nice casual place to just eat and talk to anyone at your table, or work the room again and go over to other tables and talk to other professionals, or even give presentations at local colleges to kind of expand your networks. And then, of course, teaching, the VITA program, any other organizations that can allow you to meet new people are great opportunities to just connect and expand your professional connections there. Some effective networking tools here. Now, for those of you who may have joined like a Meet the Firm event or any other career fair in person, these would be some really good tools to use. Though when you're doing virtual, you can absolutely kind of change it up a little bit to do the same. So for example, make a good first impression. You can do that virtually and in person as well. Making a good impression can allow you to really shine when it comes to talking to recruiters. You also want to make sure that they remember you, since at these types of events, they meet a lot of people. So really kind of standing out and finding your niche there is a great way to help you be remembered. Making eye contact is important when you're talking. Sometimes when we talk about doing virtual virtual meetings or presentations, we often recommend staring right at the camera and not at yourself in the little box in the corner. But in person, it's a lot easier. So you want to try to keep eye contact at a normal pace, I guess. Sometimes, when I've had experience when students would just do like the eye contact and they don't move the eye contact, and it's kind of weird. But a normal amount of eye contact would be good. Making certain that to achieve your goal at this event. Now, this is important because many people may not really realize that when you're attending a networking event, you should go in with a goal in mind. So for example, before you go to this networking event, you should have at this point researched the event and research who will be there. Find out what firms will be there, what their culture is about, mission, vision, values, for example. Maybe have them written down somewhere so you can go and be prepared. You already have questions that you've developed so you can learn more about their company. Then when you're at the event, you should really have a goal as to who you may want to talk to, what you might want to find out, maybe get an internship or a job, some job information, for instance. So if you're going to the event with this goal, you'll have actions, tasks that you can do to achieve that goal. See how that works all together? So going to these networking events, whether it's like the few that I've already mentioned, a banquet, a luncheon, a firm tour, and having a plan instead of just going there and going with the flow, will help you achieve more of what you want and help you kind of move forward to your ultimate goal. Leaving a positive feeling is always good. It kind of works with them making a good impression. And then most important here is following up. I've mentioned LinkedIn a few times, but if you get their email address, that's just as good. Following up and letting them know that it was great to talk to them. It was great connecting with them. I'm really interested in AYZ position at said firm, and I want, to learn more about next steps. Okay, so once you get the job, you want to get noticed and make your mark, right? You want to stand out from the crowd. So when you're, whatever career path you do choose, one way to achieve this is to kind of stand out. Don't take on more than you can handle, but you also want to make sure you succeed in your project. So don't stop yourself from the challenge as well. Pay attention to what the firms need and present solutions to the problems that they may be facing or obstacles that come up. So your involvement will get you noticed and help you make your mark within the company. Success doesn't happen overnight. It does take time, and you do have to put in the work. So especially in areas that you may need some tuning up. So while you're at work, make sure to highlight your strengths, but work on areas that you're weak in as well. And that's okay if there are those areas. Everyone has weaknesses, but you work on them and then you just get better, and you can show that, you show your progress over time. You won't grow in your role or within the firm if you don't take on new challenges. So taking on responsibilities of managing others, for example, or managing projects, staying up on new advances in the field, take classes to learn new skills, and then of course, be open to change. Now, now that you're putting in all of this effort to get to where you want, you also don't want to be afraid to get compensated for what you need and merited raises. So especially for any ladies on the call, I'm going to just go a little rogue here. There's a major wage gap. So you want to be, if you feel like you deserve it, definitely speak up, show that you deserve your raises. And of course, for the men here, if you want to be, helping your female colleagues, then definitely do that. But a great way to show why you deserve merited raises and promotions is to keep track of all of your successes. Often enough, when you're in a company, they do, yearly evaluations, and usually they ask you to bring, what are the good things that you do, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I forgot, I don't know all of the projects that I worked on, etc. If you already preemptively keep track of all of the successes that you've done throughout the year, then that would be an easy project. And two, it would kind of give you a reason to say, this is why I deserve this raise. I closed this partnership. I worked with this firm, or etc. So that's a great way to just kind of get more higher salary. And then lastly, self-evaluation is always important, but sometimes you may need an outside observer to let you know know how you're doing within your role. So try to get some honest feedback from your colleagues, your managers, and of course your subordinates as well. Okay, so let's review what we've gone over so far. Setting important and thoughtful goals. You want to think about what's really important, pick those 1, 2, 3 important goals that we've kind of talked about, and then really start developing a plan to get those done. Utilizing tools and time savers to save you time along the way can really help you get things going and move along. Network and follow your career choice. So once you've developed what you want to do, find the right people that you can talk to help you get ahead, help you, find those opportunities that you may not have been able to find on your own. And then of course, once you do get that opportunity, get noticed at work for your great work. And don't limit yourself and believe what you can do. We're of course here to help with anything that you may need. Now we're going to shift gears a bit and then setting your CPA exam goals, since I know a lot of you are interested in obtaining your CPA exam. And like I said, a lot of these features that I will talk about on the CPA exam, or just in general, the CPA exam, could kind of relate to the CFA as well. So we'll talk about that as we move forward. So for anyone who is excited about sitting for the CPA exam and getting your CPA license, CPAs have long-term job security. It's coupled with great flexibility. Once you obtain your license, it's pretty much yours to take wherever you want, especially since you can move it to other opportunities as long as you keep it active. You would also be seen as a trusted advisor and business consultant from day one. And this is because most people know how difficult it can be to obtain a CPA license. Plenty of work experience, at minimum 5 years of schooling and ethics exam in most states. And of course, you have to pass the CPA exam, which we've already established is a pretty difficult high stakes exam with less than 50% of a pass rate. You'd also be at the forefront of the latest technological advances in business, behind the minds creating IT shifts such as assimilation, and then of course creating more opportunities to utilize more data analytics at the firms. As a matter of fact, a lot of the changes that are happening on the CPA exam, which I'll talk about, really do revolve around these advances in technology. Then of course, you get to enjoy a better work-life balance and a great salary. As I've mentioned, you need the CPA license or any kind of license really to obtain promotional opportunities in business. So this is just a great opportunity to pursue. So what would you do to need to get your license? You would have to meet educational requirements. So in New Jersey, if you're getting your CPA license education requirement, you would need 120 semester credits at minimum with a bachelor's degree, 24 credits in accounting, and 24 in business. You would need to meet your work experience requirement, which in New Jersey, it's 1 year of accounting experience under a licensed CPA, with 25% of that experience highlighting auditing and assurance work. Pass the ethics course. In this case, it would be the ethics course, the New Jersey ethics course, within 6 months of licensure, and then of course pass the CPA exam. When you're getting ready to take the CPA exam, you want to apply first for the exam. You apply through CPA Central, NASBA CPA Central for New Jersey candidates. Then you enroll in your CPA review course. We do urge you not to skip this. I know we have a lot of review courses out on the market. Definitely do your research on the review courses. I'll talk a little bit about ours and hopefully convince you to select ours. But review courses really do work for you and kind of give you a better chance of passing the CPA exam the first time around. I want, you want to see it as an investment in yourself and in your career, especially just talking regarding what we do, we create our content to the AICPA blueprint. So everything that you're going to be studying in the CPA exam are mapped to the blueprints and are exactly the same level of difficulty and the same content that will be tested on the CPA exam. Once you receive your notice to schedule from NASBA, then you can start scheduling your exam with that notice to schedule. And each notice to schedule for New Jersey as well is only good for 6 months. So when you're applying through NASBA CPA Central, you want to select the exams that you're for sure will be able to sit for within that time frame. Then you want to get your life in order. So this kind of can go for both exams here. When you're sitting for the CPA exam, you want to start by building up your support system. What does that mean? You want to talk to your people, your friends, your family, your colleagues, for example, that you're going to undertake this very important task of passing the CPA exam, and you're asking for their understanding and their support. What does that mean? Maybe, they're understanding that you won't be able to join that summer vacation because you're trying to get through the exam over the summer. Or they, perhaps your family can cover you on some of the tasks that you'll need, that maybe you're responsible for at home. Perhaps it's taking the garbage out every night, or other responsibilities that maybe your family members can take on so that they can help you. Then you want to clear your calendar and clear distractions. So anything that wouldn't really pertain to studying, you'd have to kind of give up a little bit, and that's okay. Maybe you're taking the time to really focus on your exam and you're going to give up a summer vacation or whatever the thing that you may want to do, and then just kind of focus on the exam. It's hard to do, but I've seen people do it. They just take the summer and they dedicate it to the exam and they get it done as soon as possible. You want to customize your study planner based on what you will be doing for the CPA exam. You want to select the CPA exam order, which works best for you. And then you want to develop a study plan that fits with your everyday schedule. Perhaps you'll be working full time. Perhaps you're going to be doing, continue your education in your master's program. Whatever the case, highlight those areas and select a schedule that works best and will set you up for success. If you know that you're not going to be able to finish all 4 parts in 3 months, then don't pick a 3-month schedule. Be, truthful with yourself and say, okay, 6 months or even 9 months, but I have to stick to the schedule. Have a consistent study schedule, meaning try to study at the same time every single day so that you have that consistency. Don't change it up day by day because it'll throw you off. So try to do it at the same time every day. And again, give up those things that you may normally be doing around that time. And then schedule your exams in advance, which I think coincides with the study planner. You want to make sure that you get the exams that you're going to be taking for first, and understanding what changes may be happening at the time that you'll be sitting for the exam will help you select the appropriate exams to start with. So within the CPA exams, usually we recommend a specific order. So starting off with FAR, because it covers the most material, and strategically it does work out best to start with the FAR exam. Then continuing with either audit or regulation based on your concentration in academia or professional life. And then finally finishing off with BEC, since it's normally the least intense of the 4 exams, covers the least material, so it'll take the least amount of time to study. Now, again, I want to stress that based on changes that might be happening on the CPA exam, you may want to shift these around. And as I mentioned, there will be some changes in 2024 for the structure. So for those who may be interested in sitting for the CPA exam but are not eligible right now, there will be some structural changes, but I don't want to focus too much on it today because it's a whole conversation. However, if you are interested, if you didn't get a chance to fill out that barcode, I will be sending the 2024 Evolution ebook to anyone who did sign up there. So definitely do that. It will come up at the end of the presentation. Okay. Okay, so why should candidates prepare differently? The CPA exam has evolved significantly throughout the years. As I've mentioned, it'll be changing in just a little over a year and a half for any candidates who will be sitting further on. So we highly recommend to try to get it out of the way as soon as possible. The way that students have studied for the exam has also evolved because of those changes to the exam. There are more students that are interested in efficiency, getting through a lot faster, shortening their study time. So we have to provide those tools to really help the students get through the exam as quickly and efficiently as possible. So what makes UWorld Roger CPA Review different, or just in UWorld in general? What we have implemented into our program is our active learning methodology. And if you haven't heard of what active learning is, it's a specific learning approach that maximizes engagement, eliminates the need for cramming, and will prepare you for better success on exam day. At the heart of it, within the program, you're going to learn by practicing within questions that will enable you to apply what you're learning. You'll have the tools to immediately revise and correct so that you have greater retention of the content closer to the CPA exam and even further past the exam. So what we have here is, we have active learning embedded into our questions and answer explanations, which I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. And also the technology works together with the active learning to help you get through the program as efficiently as possible. So here's an example of the questions that we have embedded into the program. Again, keep in mind that the example I will show you for the CPA question are almost exactly to what you'll see in the CFA program. So this question is a FAR question on that you'll find in one of our I guess like another review course out there. It's asking, according to the FASB conceptual framework, which is an essential characteristic of an asset? And it says here that an asset provides future benefits, but the answer explanation just pretty much repeats the question here. It doesn't really give me an explanation as to why this is the correct answer. Now, what we do within our program is really provide extra visuals for candidates that may have gotten it wrong or may not have understood the entire concept. What you'll see within our questions is that we've implemented different learning styles for every student. So as we understand, everyone learns differently. There are visual students, kinesthetic learners, auditory learners, etc. So understanding that there are different types of learning styles can help us develop the best possible answer explanation that will cover all of these learning styles. So for instance, we start off with an illustration to kind of cover the 3 basic elements of financial statements, which covers assets, which is what the question's about, but it also covers liabilities and equity lightly. So if you want to look at that and there's a question that comes up on those topics, you'll be ready. It'll be kind of ingrained in your mind there. Then we have an in-depth explanation as to what an asset is, and then explain why choice A, B, and C are incorrect, which is really where the active learning takes place. If you get something wrong and then you're not sure why you got it wrong, then you can go into the answer explanation and say, well, I chose choice B, but now I see why choice B was incorrect because I'm learning from my mistake. It's similar to how if, a young child would put their hand on something hot, they burn themselves. Usually they learn not to do it again. And that's kind of the idea here when you're getting things wrong and you're learning why you make the mistake. So you learn not to do it again. Then in the things to remember section here, you also learn, you have a key takeaway, things to remember, something that you can create into a flashcard, you can review it later, and then reference the references to the lectures where this topic is being covered. So this is pretty consistent across the board on our review course. So our program is designed to drive the results, drive your own results in passing your exam. So like I mentioned earlier, we do map all of our questions to the AICPA blueprints, which the blueprints are the content framework of the CPA exam and tells you exactly what topics will be tested, but also how difficult they will come up on the exam. So by utilizing that tool to create our questions, we're making sure that our candidates will have the highest quality questions out there. Also by using memory aids and mnemonics to help auditory learners and help you break down those complex topics, not just in the practice questions as you saw, but within the course as well. The lectures and the textbook have the same level of detail that will allow our candidates to really learn the concepts here. Plus, our technology is meant to help you get through the program a lot faster. So we have 2 tools that I like to highlight. Our spaced repetition technology embedded into the digital flashcards. Digital flashcards are great, we all know them, but the spaced repetition technology embedded into them is really where it's key. It's a technology that helps candidates learn more difficult concepts by enhancing their memory on it, helping them problem solve with that topic. And then eventually, as they're practicing within the technology, they can decrease the frequency of the topic so that brain is challenged to create long-term retention. It's a proven method, and we've implemented the method as a technological form within our content, within our course. And then SmartPath predictive technology is really where a lot of the magic happens, helps our students save many hours of their study time by helping them create a kind of targeted study approach for the exam. So it could be easy to get lost anywhere between 300 to 400 hours on average studying for the CPA exam, especially if you're a self-studier, you usually don't know where to start, you're kind of going top to bottom. That's usually the case. With SmartPath, it helps you really highlight the areas that you're doing really well in, so you don't have to spend any more time in, but also highlight the areas that you're not doing so well in, so you can focus your time on and be more efficient with your studies. You don't have to go back to any of the areas that you're already excelling in. When you're doing practice questions, sometimes it's especially when you're covering all of the topics, it's kind of easy to just kind of go over or skip ahead of some of the questions that don't really make you feel confident. But with SmartPath, it's kind of in your face. It's kind of like you need to get through this subject matter, otherwise you're not going to be able to pass this subject within the exam. So you don't want too many of those, because then you fail the exam. But SmartPath helps highlight those. Now, the time to invest in yourself is now. For any of you guys who are maybe seniors, well, this will be your last semester and you're planning on getting started with your studies. This is a great opportunity to invest, get a review course early. I know maybe some of you may be having finals within the next couple of weeks, or maybe next week, I'm not sure, but it's a great opportunity to really take a look at some of the content that maybe you're seeing in some of your classes, and you're going to be bridging it to what will be on the CPA exam. And also a great opportunity to impress either your current employers or your future employers, since it shows that you're serious about obtaining your license, obtaining your CPA license. You want to show them that you're serious, because when they're hiring, especially for maybe audit or tax, they want to know that you will be getting eventually licensed, because then you'll be a licensed professional representing their firm. So a lot of times firms have the problem of having staff that's stagnant. They can't get promoted to manager if they don't have their CPA license, especially in those two areas, tax and audit. So by showing them that you're serious about getting your exam done, then it's a great opportunity to impress them. Don't put your future on hold. You can join the 94% that pass with UWorld. This is a code that can help you save lots of money on our Elite Unlimited course. For those interested on the CPA exam, our Elite Unlimited is unlimited access, so it does not expire. So even if you do get it now and use it in your course, for example, you can still use it for your CPA exam and not worried about ever getting expired. And the most important thing here is that we have the free updates. So you can still study for the CPA exam next year if you take advantage of this code now, and still have the most up-to-date material in the course itself. So this is a great opportunity to save $2,100 on, well, not $2,100, $2,000 on the course with my code. And then for those of you who are interested in CFA, as I mentioned, with the QR code, if you haven't got a chance to sign up, I'll bring it up in just a second. But with the CFA, it's a pretty new product. So you'll have the CFA level 1 practice questions available, and it's free to try for 90 days. As a 90-day trial. So even if you're not interested in CFA, maybe you might want to just go check it out anyway. And the level of detail within the practice questions are the same as I showed you with the CPA, where there's a visual and there's a in-depth answer explanation, and then the takeaway as well. There are no lectures on the CFA. We had lectures before we merged with UWorld, so that's why we have lectures. But like I said, you'll still have the same level of detail within the practice questions and answer explanations. And like I said, it's a 90-day free trial to have the CFA level 1 practice questions. So definitely take advantage of that. And if you want me to send you that free trial, make sure that you sign up on the QR code that I'm going to be showing you. As a quick reminder, we are partnered with over hundreds of firms across the United States, and we help you build your firm. If, for example, you have gotten an offer and you want to get started, and you know that we can help build your firm directly if they're partnered with us, or if they are not partnered with us, we can help you get reimbursed if they have a CPA review policy that would allow them to reimburse for CPA review. A lot of times, some firms may have a contract with another review provider, but they do reimburse if you buy it on your own. If you are sure and you say, you know what, UWorld is for me. I like their, I like the quality of the content. I know I can pass with UWorld. I don't really believe in the other course. Then I want to study with UWorld. Then we can help you get reimbursed if they do have that policy, and we'll help you get the best price as well. You've got this. So, we're here to help. As I mentioned, I do advising sessions for CPA. If you're interested in kind of knowing what your path should be, developing your study planner, I can do that for you. So please feel free to reach out to me. And then finally, again, don't forget to sign into today's presentation. I will be sending out those free trial links for anyone interested. And then today is technically the last day to join my full scholarship raffle for a full Elite Course Unlimited. I usually do this at the end of the presentation tomorrow. I normally will announce it tomorrow, but I'm going to push that to next week. I announced the winner on my LinkedIn page. So if you're interested in knowing who won, please feel free to join, to connect with me if you find out there. Or if you win, then I obviously will email you, but I'll be giving away 3 scholarships for CPA this semester, which I will give away next week on my LinkedIn. And today is the last day to join. So it's an opportunity. And that's my contact information. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. For those, I wish I could be there in person. Unfortunately, I already had another virtual event immediately after this, which is why I opted for the virtual. But normally I like to be on campus to see the candidates and see students and future, people that are going to be CPAs or professionals in general, just because you guys are awesome. So do you guys have any questions for me or about the CPA exam or about I don't really know too much about the CFA. I'm going to be perfectly honest, but I can connect you with the right person if you do have questions. I'll take questions now if there are any.
Form. Anyone in virtual, Zoom? No one has any questions. Janill, thank you so much for coming to a speak test today. All members of WMA Advisory Club, please stay behind. I have a couple announcements to make by next semester, and I'll put the QR code up for PDP points.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good end of the semester, and hopefully we'll connect in the future. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.